Hello, welcome to an INFJ ramble. Um, I've been digesting this book currently. It's called The Alchemy of Happiness by Hazrat Inayat Khan, and it's been dropping a few gems that I've been currently processing and digesting. I just kind of wanted to share it with you. I thought it was very insightful and it just resonated with me so much. And I thought, like I said, it was worthwhile to share. And you may or may not take something from it. And either way, it's okay. So, I don't know if you guys are the same way, but I usually like underline like parts in the book. Like, I don't know if I can show you. Like, I'll underline areas that I think are worthwhile. And it's interesting. So I don't know how I determine this, but like during certain times or phases of my life, I am drawn to particular books. And sometimes I will spend hours, days, weeks, months with a book. And then I'll put it away on my shelf and it'll sit there for a while. And then maybe I return to it within like a couple of years and I'll open up through the pages and it'll just kind of be like a little reminder. And like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, am I applying that? Oh, I understand it better, even more deeply. You know what I mean? Like, based on where I've progressed in my life. But let's get on to this little thing that I underlined. So it says a spiritual attainment, on the contrary, wants to take possessions away. It does not even allow one to possess oneself. This can be a great disappointment for a person whose only realization of having attained something is in possessing it. Spiritual attainment, however, comes by not attaining. So, like for me, that's why I don't really have any attachments to anything anymore. Like, I don't know if you guys function the same way, but like, I usually leave my car unlocked, and a lot of people have a problem with that, and they're like, well, I can't leave my car unlocked. I don't want people to steal anything. And for me, like, seriously, it just doesn't bother me so much. Like, I figure if somebody needed to take something from me, they probably needed it more than I did. And I was probably just kind of like, you know, an avenue in which the item that they were supposed to possess in the first place was moving through. Does that make sense? I don't know. Even like these the clothes I wear and all this like decoration, I don't really have any attachment to it. So quite frequently I'll just give stuff away. Like there's been moments where like say I'm wearing like a particular item of clothing and the person I'm with likes it, I'll literally take it off my back and like, oh, you want it? And I'll give it to them. And people trip out. They're like, really? You're gonna give it? I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, you like it? You can here, have it, you know? I mean, yeah, so like I don't really have too much attachment to things. And a lot of times, like for instance, when I travel, I notice that I don't travel just to travel. I travel because I am drawn to particular places, and I think it's because of the energetic signature or essence that it holds. And well, I'm going way off subject, but if you were to think about each person you encounter, each place you touch, each thing you consume, it basically like reconfigures you on a molecular level to create more of who you are. And in the process, of course, there's, in the process of creation, there's elimination. So while you're, you know, restructuring your DNA or your molecules or your atoms, there's other aspects of yourself that are shedded away, kind of like a snake shedding its skin. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm making sense anymore. Yeah, I just don't have any really attachment towards any material things. And I know that, you know, nature or the divine can take it away in any moment. So to release attachments is, I believe, to be more liberated, and to kind of like enter a state of peace versus suffering. We've been taught that we have to suffer a lot, and I understand that it's a process that you need to move through. Like, it's an alchemical process that you need to move through in order to become, like turning lead into gold. But I don't think your nature is suffering. I think the process, during the process, suffering incurs in order to create the pressure that is needed in order to help you to become who you really are. And I think you will agree that we are not all these things. I've already mentioned this in previous videos. Yeah. Another thing I underlined that I thought was pretty profound: spiritual knowledge does not lie in learning something, but in discovering something, in breaking the fetters of the false consciousness, and in allowing the soul to unfold itself with light and power. What does the word spiritual really mean? Spiritual means spirit conscious. So I think, like in that little phrase or paragraph, what I got from that was, again, there's various levels of consciousness that you need to move through in order to, reach what we refer to as enlightenment or Christ consciousness or nirvana, or, there's just so many terms for the same thing. And that's why I feel like language is so limited, you know what I mean? And like I said, we are all moving towards different stages of growth and development in order to attain that which is our divine right, It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of self-discipline, it takes a lot of seeking. And I think INFJs are probably in tune with it the most. I'm not saying like other people are not capable of it, but I think INFJs probably encapsulate the term old soul. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, I do believe INFJs are older souls because we've passed through so many degrees and angles and passages of initiation that we've come to a point in our life where we've attained that spirit consciousness. And that's why I think a lot of people cannot understand our dialogue or the way we are wired or the way we function, So I'm not quite sure what our purpose is, but I think it is to bring heaven on earth and to be a part of a huge shift and transformation while staying in the background, or in the foreground. I guess it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to experience, But I think we harness a particular vibration or frequency that is very high, and we've covered it up because we've been, exposed to so much trauma early on. And in order to adapt and for self-preservation reasons, I think we've covered that truth up in layers. But, I think we have the resilience and the willpower and the courage to break through and penetrate those layers to access who we really are, which is this divine and holy power. And because we can access this, we can harness this really high vibrational frequency, which can actually transform people and things around us on a, I want to say on a subtle level, because we are not loud people. We are not ones to seek the spotlight, right? So in subtle ways, we are that ripple effect, that drop in the water, and then it just kind of ripples out. I could be totally wrong in my assessment, but I'm feeling that's the purpose. And like I said, the more power, the more responsibility, right? And so we have been given a heavy load or burden to carry, and we've had to move through all these really dense segments of reality in order to almost like burn off the layers that we are not, so that we can access who we really are. And then we can really do some real work by manifesting the reality that we've always foreseen in our mind, which I feel is my vision since I was a child, was heaven on earth, like just harmony and peace amongst everyone, and I think the millennials are bringing in that new energy as well. They're kind of like bucking against the current system, and they're utilizing their time to kind of um, like they're using their time for self-exploration versus being conformists. And I think you know that the more you know yourself, that's where the magic occurs. So anyhow, I've just been going off. This is what I do in my spare time. And it's funny, even when I'm out in public or at work, I could be immersed in activity externally, but internally, I'm like getting these insights, these revelations, and these like interesting information just being downloaded. I don't know. Can you relate to that? Maybe you can. Um, Anyhow, I'm going to stop. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Um, Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Blessings to one and all. Amen.